Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we have another review for you guys. It's the first time filming a video in our new home. It's pretty much empty and barren right now except for the living room, but we sort of have a studio together. The sounds are a little bit echoey, but we're still working on sound treating this room. But today we have the Epomaker SK61, a 60% mechanical keyboard that has optical, hot-swappable switches. There is a Bluetooth version, but we have the wired version. And then it's also extremely affordable as well at about $65 right now on the Epomaker website. And to be honest, I didn't know what to expect because we've never used optical switches before, but I gotta say they are extremely smooth, but they also feel a little fake as well. And we'll go over all of that and then sound test at the end, of course. But first, let's get started with the unboxing, or what's in the box, because I've already unboxed it, can't box it again. In the box we have the keycap puller, and this is a plastic ring keycap puller. I don't recommend that you use this on your keycaps at all. I mean, just recycle it, toss it or something. Get yourself a wire keycap puller because that won't scratch up your keycaps when you're changing your keycaps out. You also have a switch puller, and it's metal and it's a large ring thing. I also don't recommend that you use this if you're exchanging all of these switches on the board. It can get quite uncomfortable and it's not exactly an ergonomic position to be in often. I'll recommend you the other switch puller that I've been using that you can use with more of a tripod grasp, and I'll link that down below as well. But it's green, comes in a pack of 2, really affordable. You're pretty much gonna use them forever if you're planning on buying a hot swappable mechanical keyboard, and even if you're going the custom route, that is way better than what most hot swappable keyboards give you as a switch puller. You also get the keyboard, of course, and we'll go over that in our review. You get 3 additional Mac keycaps: command, option, and control. It does come with a really cool, sleek, stylish silver braided USB-C cable with like accented ends, so it's really cool. And then there's also the manual, and trust me, you'll want to keep the manual, look at it until you memorize what all those sub-legends on the second layer even are, because the keycaps themselves don't tell you. All right, general build quality. This is an all plastic case. To be honest, the case is nothing special. It's all plastic. On the back, there are no kickstands at all, so you're pretty much stuck with the angle that this keyboard is at. There are 4 rubber feet though to prevent you from slipping. That's pretty nice. It's pretty much standard among most keyboards. The angle itself is quite ergonomic, I would say. The front is a little high for some people. For me, I found it to be okay. I didn't have to use a wrist rest or anything. I felt fairly comfortable. If you do switch these keycaps out to a higher profile keycap set, such as SA or maybe OEM, then it might be a little bit too tall, but this is okay. These are pretty low profile keycaps in general. As far as the keycaps go, this profile is called GSA, which seems very similar to XDA. I've never heard anything about GSA before. I think Epomaker specifically makes them, but they are PBT keycaps. The legends are thermally sublimated, and that just prevents wear and tear, and it won't rub off over years of typing. But you'll probably want to change up the keycaps anyways if you're not used to a uniform profile like this. Uniform just means each row is exactly the same and each keycap is the same height and the same shape. So it does have some concavity on the top to hug your fingers. However, from row to row, it doesn't vary at all except the height of the keyboard. On F and J, there are little homing dots so that you can orient yourself back to the home row if you're a touch typist. And then this keyboard comes with different color keycaps. We got the two-toned white and gray. There is also the two-tone dark and light gray, and then the pink and white as well. And then the escape key is always an accent color. This one's red. I think on the pink one it's green, and on the dark and light gray I think it's red as well, but don't quote me on that. Check the website, it's down below, and then we'll also link to the product on Amazon as well. With the keycaps, one thing that I've noticed is that the J seems to be misaligned. That seems to be the only issue that I have with it. Other than that, the legends have enough contrast that you don't really need backlight, although that would be nice. But yeah, the keycaps have no shine through. There are LED lights on the board though. So if you do decide that you need some of those legends popping up as you type or game deep into the night, you can change up the keycaps to something else. As I've said, the font is really simple to read. I would have liked it if maybe the words were a little bit bigger, but the letters themselves are quite large and high contrast. So if you have old people eyes like me, this is a pretty good keycap set. And then, as I've said before, there are no sub-legends on here. So if you want the arrow keys, if you want the secondary media functions, if you want the navigational keys on here, like what do you even press, refer to the manual. The arrow keys are on # Alt menu control. So that's really convenient if you hold FN with your right pinky finger and then access it from there. And then I believe the secondary media keys are on the ASD FGH row. So really easy access as well. And then the keycaps are almost 1.5 millimeters thick, which is really thick. Compared to most keycaps, that is very thick. One thing that I do like about the appearance is that it doesn't have floating keycaps, and the bezels cover part of the keycap, which looks pretty clean and looks pretty sleek. So RGB, this has several preset effects in it, and we'll look over them right now. To change the effects, you hold FN and either right bracket or backslash. So it's really easy. To change the speed, you do FN and colon or apostrophe, and then to change the brightness, you do FNP or left bracket. So the different colors are spectrum cycling, we have a rainbow wave, a circular wave, we have the green static with the arrow keys in red, I guess that's gaming mode. And then the white actually isn't really white, it's more of a bluish white. I've seen that in some other boards before. I'm not a huge fan, although it does a job. It keeps the keys backlit. And then we have the reactive rainbow, the reactive row in rainbow, the reactive wave in rainbow, and the reactive spectrum. And then as for switches, there are different optical switches available. I picked black, but they also have red, brown, and they don't have blue, so there's no clicky option. But a benefit is that these optical switches are hot swappable, so you can pull them out, but you cannot hot swap them with mechanical switches. So no Cherry MX switches, no Kale switches, no Gateron mechanical switches, no ZOPC, nothing like that. Just other optical switches, and currently the only other optical switches that I know of are Gateron optical switches, or Keycaps also makes their own that's co-engineered with LK optical switches. And they're very easy to take out. You don't have to match any pins because there are no pins. You just pull them straight out and you push them back in. It's quite convenient actually. You don't have to be careful as much as with mechanical pins, and you don't have to worry about 3-pin versus 5-pin. As long as it's an optical switch, it should fit on here. Not sure about the Razer optical ones though, because those are their own separate breed altogether. All right, as for the stabilizers, they are really loud. They do come pre-lubed, they're cherry style, but they're really loud. You'll hear the sound test at the end, but here's just a preliminary sneak peek at what that sounds like. Here's a space bar. It's pretty loud. So as for sound, the case really echoes there's not a ton of stuff underneath each switch and there's more space there. There's just a lot of empty space in this keyboard altogether for the sounds to just bounce and echo from everywhere. So this keyboard can really benefit from inserting a foam layer inside the case, and it can also benefit from lubing and modding the stabs. You can also lube these switches really easily. They're still Gateron switches, so using the MX switch opener could work, or you can use a flathead screwdriver. Depends on what your deal is and what you want to do. You can also spray lube them. That creates a whole mess. For more information on spray lubing switches, I'll link you to a video where I did that over here. And now we have the moment of truth. Where's the USB port? Just kidding. The sound test is coming. But the USB port is on the top left side. It's really easy to access. Pretty much any USB-C cable should be able to fit in there without any trouble. And now, sound test. Take it away. All right, so as you heard, it is a very loud keyboard. The bottom out sounds echo everywhere, and it almost feels like it's super hollow and it's really fake. Like the switches don't feel mechanical, although that spring is still there and you have to actuate, but it actuates via light, so it makes sense. And then I heard it's very similar to the GK61, but I haven't reviewed that one yet. That one's coming in the mail. We bought that maybe a week or two ago. We're waiting on that. And then it is compatible with Mac and Windows. You can download the software to edit the backlighting, although I haven't played around with that too much. But for a decent quality 60% mechanical keyboard with optical hot-swappable switches and a really cool USB-C cable, the price for this, $65, really isn't bad at all. If you're just getting into mechanical keyboards and you're thinking, oh, I need to try different switches, or I can't tell if I like clicky or linear or tactile or what force I want or whatever, this is a pretty good option. It lets you try different switches. It lets you mod the keyboard. It lets you learn about like case foam, changing out the springs, lubing, modding, things like that. So it's a really good deal, and it does come with nice PBT keycaps and RGB lighting. Although the keycaps aren't shine through, you can always replace those down the road. And then like other mechanical keyboards, it does have NKRO rollover, 100% anti-ghosting, things like that. So, and it's optical, so it does have decreased latency and it reacts pretty quickly. You also don't have to worry about any debouncing or things like that as well. But you have 3 different programmable layers. If you download the software, you can learn all about that. And it's IPX6 waterproof, so you could essentially spill a little bit of water on your keyboard and not worry about it. That's pretty good, but I really don't recommend you testing that function, or else you might get a dead board. So yeah, for $65, this is a pretty good deal. It's optical. I know I don't really recommend optical switches because you can't really hot swap to many other options. But if you're just beginning and you need to decide whether you like clicky, linear, or tactile, it's a pretty great option without breaking the bank. And it's a nice quality board. It's nice to look at. It looks good. It's really clean. If you have a white mouse, I'm gonna link you guys to my ASMR playlist where I do a bunch of different switch sound tests if you're wondering what the different switches sound like right here. And then do another 60% keyboard that you might like right here, and subscribe here if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.